Sports Betting Network.
Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss, Pauly Howard with you. We are live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Exciting 3-hour program lined up. How about this guest list today? Jay Bilas on the show in 30 minutes. Very strong. Great job by Luke, our producer. Jeff Seeley. Let's see here. He's only won 3 of the last 4 weeks with the outright winner on the PGA Tour. I think he's had 5 bombs come in since the beginning of February at least 14-1.
Yes.
Bruce Marshall on the program, a lot of college basketball, and Derek Stevens in studio a little bit later on, owner of this great property. And Circa Pauly is a major sponsor of this Crown basketball tournament. We'll begin college hoops today. It's no longer March, April Fool's Day. Always a fun day to be a part of, right? So there is a game going on as we speak, Cincinnati and DePaul. And the story was, a couple of huge stories regarding this tournament yesterday. And we'll get to the Final Four and some other stuff coming up here in a minute. But all 4 games had major moves on the total yesterday. All 4 games went over the total. Okay. There was also this late last night, which hurt my feelings. Georgetown, they opened up 2.5 against Washington State. On Twitter, they announced right before the game, due to a health incident that impacted several members of the team, Georgetown is playing with a limited roster this evening. I grabbed Wazoo +2.
Yeah, if you were quick, you could have got it. Yeah.
They closed -2.5. They led the entire game. They lost by 3.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fun one to lose.
Yeah.
And then, of course, all these line moves today are absolutely bananas. But yesterday, in several states, books realized that they could not offer these bets. They had to pull them because evidently it wasn't sanctioned by the NCAA.
Ridiculous. A good rundown from Bill 80 today with the morning East
that was awesome. Yeah.
Newsletter about, it's a college basketball tournament. But, okay, well, you got to get approval, though? What? And then what happened where it was Caesars, Will Hill, FanDuel, DK, and viewers alerted us and Adam Burke mentioned it. Well, he was on the air with us, and then Nick sent the text in as well, and now it's okay in some states and to put it up, and it's just bizarre.
Right before the show started, we're getting more tweets about this. Guys, we want to bet this. Now they're back up evidently. I'm not going to look at every state, better things to do, but I just clicked on Arizona, for example. It's the first one alphabetically at FanDuel, right? You can click on which state. It's up. They're back up at FanDuel. So I don't know. I mean, maybe this is going to be rectified today and everybody can bet this stuff. Because, again, look at these line moves with the totals anyway. Cincinnati, this number opened up. The total opened up 137.5. It closed around 145.5 or 146.5. Now, it's only 33-23 at halftime. It's trending towards a dead under. The second half total is 75.5.
Well, that's what's going on in the Boise game. Then they scored 57 in the second half.
That's right.
To put it over, yes.
That's right. Oregon State Central Florida opened up 156.5. That is currently on the board at around 160.5. Colorado and Villanova opened up 137.5, Paul. 9-point move to the total. 9.
Yep.
146.5 now. And Tulane USC opened up below 150. It's now touching 159 at a couple of different books.
And Bruce gave that, he loved that over as well. And the USC's on a nice run with the overs. And Central Florida opened 1, they're up to 5.5. And USC opened 6, and they're up to 8.5. With these games. So based on what happened yesterday and everything going over, and you're right, these are huge moves that you're talking about, a 9-point move with the 2 totals.
Well, how about this now? Also, the big story was, to go along with that, you did not even have to be early to the party. Betting any number that you bet before the game started, you won.
Yes. Washington State, Georgetown, 154.5 up to 162.5, 86-82. Nebraska over, 149 up to 156.5, 86-78. And you're right about that and what happened. And then the small move, but Butler, Utah had no problem to start the day.
That's right. So people who were maybe putting together some round robins potentially with that angle, like, look, I mean, this is going to be a super high-scoring tournament. Nobody's here, unfortunately. And I heard Matt Humans talking about this last night on Primetime. I completely echo his thoughts. The MGM Grand Garden Arena is a fantastic venue for college basketball games. I've seen several games there. I actually was a little bit sad when they moved the old Pac-12 tournament to T-Mobile, although it was great there too. MGM Grand Garden Arena is absolutely fantastic to host college basketball, or basketball in general. And you're looking at these games that are played on TV. It's on FS1. You're like, there might be 6 people there, 15 people. you can hear people, like there was one guy, I think, belittling the coach or the players last night. It's like, can somebody please escort this guy out? Because your voice is going to carry so far.
Well, I think it's going to pick up because then you got the games coming up tomorrow, and then you get to the semis, and then the big party is here, 12 to 6 all day at the pool on Friday, which Derek will talk about.
I hope so.
So, yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a fun tournament, a lot of money on the line, but you got the semis of the NIT, too. These are good games tonight.
You like these? You're very excited about these.
Well, I like this North Texas program and loved Irvine. And Irvine won 30-plus games. So I think North Texas covers. And then plus you got Loyola against Chattanooga, which Chattanooga's been lucky, but they've caught some breaks to get in this position. But Loyola laying 2.5 now, 3-point move on the total, up to 147.5. I wouldn't put you off to playing both favorites here in this one, and four, at least three fantastic programs. And the season that Irvine had was spectacular.
Yep. So if you're wondering what happened again yesterday, Adam Burke joined our program in real time as it was unfolding. Like, guys, they're pulling these. What the hell's going on? He also has a good write-up at VSiN.com. And this is Johnny Avello, who is the director of the DraftKings Sportsbook nationally. He was on with VSiN Primetime last night. He explained what happened yesterday for this Crown tournament.
Johnny Avello of DraftKings. Right now, Tim and I are watching and betting on the College Basketball Crown 16-team tournament here in Vegas at the MGM Grand Garden. And across the country, we're getting feedback from all sorts of states here, Tim. What is it? Indiana, Ohio, North Carolina, Arizona, Colorado.
Yep.
All over the place where these
Illinois.
These games are not up on the board. Every Vegas book has them up, and we're betting these. Why are the College Basketball Crown games not up across the country? Do you know?
Well, what I could tell you is that we did have them up, and then we were told to take them down. And then the reason we were told to take them down is that the jurisdictions, I guess, didn't see this as one of the items we had on the menu for them to bet. And so, no, it's college basketball. It just wasn't something that was already approved. So then we took it down, and I don't know what the current status is of it right now. But I will check into it a little bit deeper to see, where it's going to be offered and if it's going to be offered and what jurisdictions that is. But that's what the case was with us. We just had to take it down because, we did not have the approval from a few jurisdictions.
I guess that's in multiple states. And Tim, this is a confusing situation for a lot of bettors. Didn't you say one person we heard from put a bet in at DraftKings this morning and then had the bet voided?
I believe so, yeah.
Isn't that right?
Yeah.
So you had that situation happen, right, Johnny?
That's what we were told to do. Yeah, we were told by DraftKings was told by a jurisdiction to void all the bets that we already had taken. So that's why that happened.
Ugh.
Messy.
Man.
Yeah. So, again, depends on what state you're in. I looked at a couple of different books nationally outside of Nevada, and they were back up before the show. Didn't have a chance to check, like, every single state where FanDuel and DraftKings are offered, but I would take a peek if you want to get involved in these games today.
There's several college basketball tournaments always going on at this time, and to think that this was... You got to get approval on this one.
I mean...
And gaming steps in, yeah.
Sure. Now, how about this? VSiN viewer and listener Robert tweeted this to a bunch of us here at the network last night. To hedge or not to hedge, that is the question. He has a $1,000 bet on Florida from last summer at 80-1 to win the national title. Keep in mind, he also wins $11,000 to Duke if they win the whole thing.
That's very important, right? He also has Duke. Yep.
So what do you do here, Hotshot? What do you do?
This happened to me years ago with Villanova, and I couldn't believe it that a Big East team that won 30 games made the Final Four, and they were 9-point underdogs to that great Carolina team. I reached out to Fezzik, and Fezzik told me you have to bet North Carolina to win it all. And he also has to. This is what he has to do here as well. But it helps that he has Duke already. But take a little Duke here at Circa plus 105 or plus 110 to win the whole thing. And then I kind of agree with Macero that he needs to take plus 3 with Auburn as well.
Yeah.
Now, how much? That's a tough question. But I am all for hedging and locking in a profit. And it goes back to our buddy Fitz, who works here at Circa. If there was $5,000 laying on the ground in an envelope, would you pick it up?
Yep.
I mean, even Derek Stevens hedges and locks in a profit with big tickets.
Yeah, we only had a couple of people respond to this, say, basically they use the Nigel Seeley line, which is, are you gambling or are you a hedger? Or are you a gardener?
$80,000.
Sure. My one ticket on Florida is $123,000. I also have other tickets on Florida to win the national title.
Yes.
So
it's also tricky because they are the first game. if Duke was the first game, it would really help out.
I would prefer that.
Yes, if Houston shocks, not a huge upset, but if Houston wins, it changes everything. And then also we have hypothetical matchups as well. This also hurts you and the gentlemen. Wait, 3 weeks ago, the game's pick 'em. Now Duke could be 4.5 against Florida in the title game?
It's up right now. It's several books, by the way. And they're minus 210 in the money line. So, 21,000 to win 10,000. That doesn't sound as good as even money. Not even close to it.
Yeah.
So that changes everything as of right now.
And what if Duke's impressive again?
Well, then, of course.
That's another thing to factor in. You may lay in 250, 260 on the money line.
So I gave some back on Texas Tech over the weekend. And I think my move right now, and I went back and forth with Chris Mistero, who does exceedingly well to Duke and Florida this year. He gets carried out if it's Houston. So do I. Have nothing. I don't have a penny on Houston. What I could do is here, and what I'm leaning towards doing is betting more on Duke at plus 105 to win the whole thing, and then grabbing Auburn at plus 3.
Yeah.
And if I lose, like if those bets are both dead on Saturday, that means I have Florida and Houston in the national title game, and Florida's going to be a small favorite in that game. And then we're talking about grabbing Houston plus maybe 1.5 or grabbing, plus 103 or whatever it is going to be on the money line.
Yep.
To lock in a profit.
And it could be risky, but get involved in play. Now, it could be 14-4 Auburn to start in the first TV timeout, but it could go the other way as well.
Yeah.
And you could grab, 7.5 or 6.5, whatever it is, in play if Florida jumps out early.
Sure.
I think
you got to lock in some money.
Yeah.
All right, today's MLB card is up next. Interesting day. Some back end of the rotation guys are going today. Some aces are making their second start, and 21 runs were scored in the first MLB game ever in this stadium last night.
Time. There's nothing more valuable. It's what drives everyone to make the most of every moment. We celebrate living large in the now. In a city where time disappears, we create experiences that electrify the soul and memories that will last forever. We go big, we go all night, and here, everyone is invited. So get loose and get loud.
This is Circa. You'll have the time of your life.
So, Pauly, have you had a chance to read the VSiN Daily yet?
Yeah. Came in at 3 a.m. What's Bill doing up that late?
Well, rumor has it, it starts off with a 12-hour meditation session.
Then he just pours himself over film and live TV, really focusing and taking it all in. Bill's in with the biggest insiders, talking trade secrets, strategies, the whole nine, absorbing the info.
And then and only then can the writing process begin.
In Las Vegas, Bill's late night becomes your early morning. Wake up to the very latest betting insights in your inbox with the VSiN Daily. Sign up for free at vsin.com/newsletter.
On the next A Numbers Game, we'll talk some Final Four with three-man weaves Jim Root, plus basketball plays in college basketball, Final Four and beyond, maybe some crown picks from JVT, plus NBA with him as well. Baseball with Paul Sporer and Jason Weingarten from under a cloud of smoke. He's obsessed with the Dodgers, even though he says he's not a fan. And torpedo bats. That's coming up. A Numbers Game, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific, right here at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Another day, another Dodgers victory. Last night, no problem. Easy work of the Atlanta Braves.
Hey, they finally scored. Braves are on the board. 29 scoreless innings. Pushed one across, Mitch.
I think I said on the air yesterday, Glasnow is probably going to go like 5 innings, 8 Ks. They'll walk out of the 5 innings, 8 Ks.
Damn right.
That's what he had.
There you go.
And maybe I should have bet those numbers with him. I did not do that.
Yep.
But tonight, it's Sale against May. Dodgers open up about minus 130 in this game.
How many times are they going to be this price? And how many times will they be underdogs?
Give me the scenario where they're going to be a dog this year. Who are they playing? They're going to have to be on the road.
Yeah, and it'd have to be something like this, where it's the back-end guy going against an ace and a pretty good team.
What is May on the road? Padres, they're off to a super hot start against Dylan Cease. Dodgers, same number, $130.
Yeah.
On the road, probably against them.
Yeah. This is low. They're begging you to bet the Dodgers. You got a team
on the road against Zach Wheeler.
Okay.
What's that number? Phillies minus.
Could be.
Pick them basically.
Yeah, Phillies small favorite.
Come up with another scenario.
Could be. Yeah, I know.
Unless they have injuries.
Something interleague. I have to look at the interleague. If they go Texas or something, if that would happen, right?
If they would play like at DeGrom or something like that.
First thing, longest winning streak for the champs, the defending champs to open a season. The 33 Yankees. 7. They can tie that record. May first start in 685 days. How long does he go? What does he have? Although you're going against a team that can't score. That's the other thing. Sale's first start in Dodger Stadium since the World Series game. Can you believe that? And you want to panic? Only 3 teams have started 0-6 all time and made the playoffs.
Oh, we talked about this yesterday.
This is getting interesting.
With one of those Red Sox teams that did it back with Adrian Gonzalez. Yep. 0-6 and never really flipped it around.
Yeah.
So now, early money on the Dodgers. They touched minus 145 today. As high. I think that was at the South Point. And now on the screen here, it looks like they're like maybe 130 is the highest number. $135 at Caesars, that's it. But you can find them at about like minus 127. You want to take the Braves tonight and Chris Sale?
Yeah, I think they can get this one tonight. This is like the one time I'll step out and say, like, it's more of a fate of May because he hasn't been out there in forever. But again, I can't hit. So it's going to have to, Sale's going to have to throw a gem, I think. Or even if it's like a Sasaki start where he doesn't have anything, but then they go to the pen and then they shut him down as well. So it's nuts what's happened. And then
here's the thing. You're going to hate yourself if you bet the Braves tonight and it's
6-2.
Yeah, 5-1 in the fourth.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
But it's gambling, you know?
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of great stuff like this tonight.
Sure.
You know, with that. And then what do you want to do with the Yankees? Burns goes against the Yankees. Do they continue this historic start? Torpedo bat. You can add De La Cruz to the mix, what happened. And if you want to get nuts, the Yankees are 17-1 to score the most runs of the day. Oh. That's always available with a prop as well. But
Corbin Burns does have good career numbers against him.
Right, sure. And he's been strong in Yankee Stadium. And then here's it's an indictment of Warren, though, that Arizona's $1.16 in Yankee Stadium.
And by the way, money on the Diamondbacks because they opened up, I think, a small favorite. It flipped. Yankees became the favorite, and then more money on the Diamondbacks to kind of flip that just by looking at the screen and watching the numbers closely. I'm fascinated by a couple of other matchups. Did you bet the game, by the way, the Yankees game?
No.
Are you going to bet the Cubs-A's game over?
You have to. Yes, that's a launching pad.
I bet it over.
Unbelievable. Estes didn't even give him a chance.
Oh, no, God, no, absolutely not.
Good-looking ballpark. It popped on television. You know, a tribute to Ricky Henderson. The guy gets bombed in the first inning, and that's all she wrote.
Of course. They scored 18 runs, 21 combined. So that was a low total last night with, back end of the rotation guys going. Scored all those runs. Now tonight you have the frontline guys going, right? Because it's Severino making a second start. He was super solid against the Mariners. That's not saying much in his first start. And like Justin Steele is a proven veteran who has, had some pretty damn good years with the Cubs over recent time. And the total's 8. I don't know. Maybe it's 4-1 final score. I had to bet it tonight over 8. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I'll bet the games early on. And if there's nothing there, there's nothing there. But maybe this turns in where it's like a AAA thing, and these games are super high scoring, and we're not adjusting quick enough here with the totals.
Yep.
Maybe.
No, I think that's in play. Absolutely. What do you want to do with the Padres? First time in the franchise history they're off to this start. Won every game. They haven't allowed a run in the 6th inning on. and the Pens 18 2/3 scoreless. And now you got King going against Allen.
Well, so Allen on paper is the 5th starter for the Guardians. King, debatable here. Is he the ace? Is Cease the ace? Maybe Darvish when he's healthy. Who is the guy? King got roughed up in his first start overall. Didn't last very long. But again, Padres taking money here. Opened up $1.60. Now as high as minus 175. Because he was not sharp in that first matchup, I thought about maybe betting him over 5.5 Ks. The problem is the Guardians early on here, they don't strike out. It's only, a very small sample size here. It's only 4 games for the Guardians so far, but that was maybe one way for me to consider betting that game to get involved. Have you touched it?
No. I did bet Texas, though. Eovaldi against Spires. You think Texas in a bad mood after getting embarrassed, and Spires was atrocious last year, and he was 1-4 with an ERA of 9 in his last 10 starts. Texas is also 15-1 to score the most runs tonight. I think Texas can beat Cincinnati. And then also, what do you do with De La Cruz now? And what do you do with all these guys with the bowling pin? I mean, this is incredible. Let me try this in batting practice. Then he goes out and hits 2 bombs.
It would have been nice to know that he was going to use that bat.
Yeah.
Because the same game parlay on him last night to hit a home run and steal a base would have paid probably 10-1 in that neighborhood, right? And we told you that and I didn't bet it because the base was plus 175, but going against that team, the Red Sox were 8 for 8, and now right away in the game last night, he picked off a bag. So that cashed immediately. That's an angle there potentially. But I love how DraftKings now, on the menu, you can actually, there's a tab. Did you see this?
Yes,
it's called Torpedo Bats.
Yep, it's excellent.
So it's the list of players that we know as of right now who are using the Torpedo Bats, and you can bet their individual player props. It's a great idea.
It is.
Just quickly adapting like that on the fly. Like, okay, this is a thing. It's going to be super popular. Let's make it available so everybody can find it super easily. So great job by them.
Yep, sorry.
I was going to say, I'm intrigued by Tigers-Mariners.
Yeah, what happened last? That was a bizarre. Again, a pitcher didn't give his team a chance to win. Detroit with a 6 spot in the first.
That's right. And we told you we ran it all down yesterday. The Mariners games at home in the first 4 against the A's. It was automatic. First 3 under, first 5 under. Hancock went last night for the Mariners. So I did not sign off on that. Didn't want to get involved. But tonight, it's juiced heavily, by the way, to some of these angles. Casey Mize takes on Gilbert. Mariners opened up minus 160. They took some money. Mize had a 1.89 ERA in spring training, 25 Ks over 19 innings, a sub-200 batting average. And what's eating Logan Gilbert was so good last year. And when he's at home, you can't touch the guy.
4-1 to have the most strikeouts tonight.
I saw that number.
4-1.
I know.
The favorite, yep.
But I looked at first 3 under, it's 2.5. The last time I checked, it was like minus 155.
Yeah.
So the book is already out here on these Mariners games. But I think maybe if you brought this up last week, Mize has been injured for several years. Comes back. Derek Stevens brought this up last week. He's a huge Tigers guy. Had a really good spring training. You don't like to fall for that, though, do you?
No, I throw it all out.
Okay.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. I got to keep an eye on the Brewers. How are they favored? And Patrick throwing 3 of their 4 losses by 9+ runs. I think you got to take Kansas City. Hendricks was atrocious last year. You can take and I also like Arenado props. He's off to a great start. Maybe just to get a base hit, just a hit for Arenado or total bases. Hendricks had an ERA of 6, and I think the Giants are good. They have 6 home runs. Houston's not doing anything offensively. And Webb's going against Houston. I think the Giants are pretty good on paper here.
Yeah, by the way, it's Wesneski going for the Astros, and it's a super small number here on San Francisco. I thought the number was a bit short.
Yes.
I'll give you one thing on Hendricks. You brought it up.
Yep.
So against the Cardinals in St. Louis, he will be the 135th pitcher to make at least 14 starts against St. Louis on the road. He has a 2.26 ERA. That is the 5th best among those starting pitchers. Hat tip to Dan Hyatt on next for that. So all those years, even when it looked like it wasn't going to go well for Hendricks, he did pitch well in St. Louis against this team. But you're right. Arenado against him is 10 for 46 lifetime.
Yep.
It's not a great batting average, but he does have 3 home runs.
Yep. I don't mind fading the Pirates as well. Harrington making his debut. Pirates can't hit. Bullpen stinks. Tampa finding ways to win. And the same thing if you want to take the White Sox again. I mean, how are the Twins? 40-cent move on the White Sox.
Yeah.
Twins don't have a win, and Chicago starters haven't allowed an earned run yet.
Yep.
What they've done.
So I'm right now. I'm looking at VSiN.com on the betting splits page. Very easy to find at the very top. And this Dodgers-Braves game at DraftKings, 74% of the handle on the Dodgers, 81% of the bets on the Dodgers as well. You can also click on Circa. They take a lot of sharp money, 74% of the handle on the Dodgers, 60% of the bets on LA. You can get VSiN's exclusive betting splits for as little as $9.99 per month. Get started today at vsin.com/subscribe. Jay Bilas on the program coming up next. If I told him Duke's going to score exactly 70 points on Saturday, does Houston beat him?
They're off.
For just $9.99, VSiN's got you covered for March Mania with a VSiN Pro subscription. You'll get access to bracket breakdowns, daily expert picks, as well as our March Mania betting guide, exclusive to Pro subscribers. Go to vsin.com/subscribe today to sign up for just $9.99. And don't forget to catch us on the go with the VSiN Watch app, or listen on SiriusXM Channel 158 and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We have you on board today, live downtown Vegas. Circa Resort and Casino is the spot. We head out here to the Progressive Guest Line, more college basketball talk, as the great Jay Bilas joins the program here from ESPN. Jay, pleasure talking to you today. Thanks for the time. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Doing really well,
Good,
really
sir.
well. I'll go back to like 2008. I can recall on the coverage right after the selections were announced, and you were on the coverage saying that all 4 number 1 seeds were going to make the Final Four, and I was laughing. I'm like, Jay, stop. Don't do that. First of all, it's too easy. It's never happened before. It's kind of boring. And, well, okay, guess what? You were right. Happened for the first time ever. You did it again this year. You liked all 4 number 1 seeds. Why did you think this year it was going to happen for only the second time ever?
Well, I mean, each time we get the bracket, and I don't know when they started asking us to make picks, which I think is profoundly stupid, but people seem to like it, so you do it. But because if I knew who was going to win these games, I'd be in Vegas, sitting by the pool with a drink in my hand, raking money in. But I just look at each path of the number 1 seeds, and if I like their path, I kind of put them through. And this year, I didn't see anything. And obviously, anybody can slip on a banana peel and lose. Last year, even though they were 2 seed, Auburn should have never lost to Yale, but they did. And a few years ago, Purdue lost to Fairleigh Dickinson. I mean, that was a lightning strike that never should have happened, but it did. So things like that can happen. But I felt like all of them had a good path, and I didn't see anything if they played well that should get substantially in their way. And, but who knows, for Florida, if Texas Tech had knocked down a couple front ends of 1-1s late in the game, maybe it's 3 1s and a 3, who knows, but it seemed to work out for the ones this year.
If I told you right now, because Duke has been an absolute machine now in this tournament and going back prior to that, if I told you right now that they were going to score exactly 70 points on Saturday against Houston, you think the Cougars win that game?
No, I think if it gets to 70, if Duke got 70 points, I think they would win. Yeah, I don't see. I think this game is probably going to be played in the 60s. I think it'd be great if it got to 70. But if anybody gets to 70, I think it'll be Duke.
They've been letting them play, and it's been a physical tournament. How much does that benefit Houston? Is that another reason why they can win this and keep it close based on how they've been officiating the whole tournament?
It's not just the tournament, it's been the whole season. In fact, I don't think it's been quite as physical in the tournament as it was during the regular season. And that's usually the case. But, over the years, the game's gotten more physical, cutters being grabbed and bumped and things like that. So we've seen that consistently. But, yeah, the more physical the game, I think the more it benefits Houston. I think they're the more physical team generally. And especially if they can be physical in their traps and blockouts and things like that, that gives them an enhanced opportunity to win. Sure.
You played and you were a coach as well. Does the venue benefit Houston at all, being close to home, or no?
You go back and forth on that. I don't think in the Final Four it's going to matter as much because it's such a huge venue and the tickets are all spread out, so it's not going to be a home court advantage. But I tend to think it's helpful when you don't have to travel as far, and there'll certainly be more Houston people that'll be able to go if they're able to beat Duke. My guess is there would probably be more Houston people in San Antonio. They're able to grab up tickets for the final and at least be around to provide a more of a home court feel. But in a 70,000 seat arena, it's not going to feel like home court for anybody.
Yeah. Where are you at with Cooper Flagg at the next level? And I'm asking you that because I don't think he's the only guy that has a chance to maybe be good and really good at the next level. And there's also a chance, Jay, where we're looking back at this Duke team beyond this tournament and in a couple of years saying, yeah, the writing was on the wall. This was one of the, in recent years, one of the best teams in college basketball, and we should have all seen it coming.
Well, I mean, I don't think we need a crystal ball to see that. They're 34-3 or 35-3, whatever it is. I mean, they've been extraordinary this year. But there are 3 other teams that have played equally as well. I mean, these are the top 4 teams in both offensive and defensive efficiency in the country. And I'm not sure we've had that, frankly. And they're 4 of the top 10 since efficiency stats have been kept in the last, since 97, last 28 years. So, it's extraordinary we've got these 4 teams. But I think if whichever of the 4 team wins, we're gonna look back and go, man, we should have picked that from the beginning. Duke's probably playing the best objectively right now in the tournament. They've had the best results in the tournament, but week to week, you can play great the first 4 games and not play great the last 2. By contrast, you can certainly not play your best and have a couple of really close games, and all of a sudden kind of play your best in the Final Four. Those things happen. So I'm not discounting any of these 4. I mean, I think Duke and at least in my mind, Duke and Florida are the 2 favorites. But at the beginning of the tournament, when I saw the matchup, I thought, the edge would probably go a little bit to Houston because the 2 teams played last year. I think that edge of having been beaten last year, even though Jamal Shed got hurt in that game. I think you're going to see a little sharpened focus and preparation for Houston in this one.
You've been excellent on this for years and outspoken about the NC2A. Someone needs to be in charge, and I nominate you for commissioner of college basketball. Would you accept, and what changes would you make to the sport?
I accept if the pay is good enough, and judging by most of these people that have taken the job, the pay is pretty good relative to the expectations of accomplishment.
Yes.
What I would say is there's certainly a lot that needs to be done, but first and foremost, what the NCAA needs to do is get it together with regard to admitting what this business is. It's a multi-billion-dollar entertainment industry that they're running off college campuses. And until they're willing to admit that and then allow the member institutions to pay their athletes as each institution sees fit, then they're going to continue to run into these problems. Like right now, there are no spending controls or caps on anything in college sports except what you can provide to an athlete. And that, in my judgment, is profoundly wrong to the point of being immoral. And I think what the NCAA needs to do is take restrictions off of schools from paying their athletes directly. And I think the consequence of that would be schools would sign their players to contracts, just like they sign coaches to contracts. They would negotiate buyouts and terms of the contracts. It would be business and pretty easy. And you could certainly still insist in the contract that there be mandatory class attendance and certain benchmarks that players need to hit with regard to education and all that, if that's important to you. But I don't see why we're carrying all this. Like you hear administrators say, well, we believe in broad-based programming and football and basketball pay for everything else. And you're going, wait a minute. Like, why are the athletes having to pay for that? And now you're hearing, boy, if the athletes get paid by the schools and we go to this revenue sharing model, that's really going to affect non-revenue sports and Olympic sports and ultimately affect our United States Olympic movement because most of our Olympic athletes are trained through the collegiate model. And you're going, what, that's on the players' backs now? They got to pay for our Olympic movement? Like maybe the government should pay for that. Mm-hmm. I just think pay the athletes what they're worth, and we know they're worth a lot. That's been proven by what they're being paid now when they're being restricted. And be done with all this antitrust nonsense. Like the best way to avoid antitrust lawsuits is quit violating antitrust law.
Yeah. All right. Very good. About 90 seconds here, Jay. As commissioner, can we please go to the monitor a couple more times late during these games?
Yeah, because fans just love monitor reviews. I have enjoyed it so much. It's provided me so much extra time to clean the house and make phone calls and catch up with relatives I haven't spoken to in decades. What I would say needs to happen, and I think this will happen, is we need to go to the NBA rule of each team, each coach having one challenge per game of a call. And if you are successful on that challenge, you keep it for one more time, 2 maximum, and let's just live with the calls. We live with them for 38 minutes of a 40-minute game. There's no reason to have every out-of-bounds play be the Zapruder film.
Yes. No kidding. Yes. No kidding. You said you'd make Florida the favorite. Do they win?
I thought they'd win at the beginning, but I don't know. I mean, I think Duke and Florida. My guess is those two are playing in the final, but it's just a guess. When you got 4 teams this good, I do think in a 1-game scenario they're toss-ups. And Auburn and Houston lost to both Florida and Duke last times they played, and I think that gives them a little bit of an advantage in preparation. We'll see if they can capitalize on it.
That was great, Jay. Thanks so much for the time. We love talking to you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Enjoy the games. There you go. Jay Bilas joined us here on the Progressive Guest Line.
Did you see only once in 30 years both dogs have won? I couldn't believe that. Felica had that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nuts. Win-lose up next. Plenty of news in the NFL. I'd say some good news and some bad, including the most obvious proposal that got denied.
Got a good thing coming, so wait and see. It's a good.
Join Matt Brown and Mike Somich on Ready, Set, Bet as they get you ready to make your bets for all the weekend games.
We're going to be at the end of this thing with money guns, or I'm just going to be like, begging people for change out on Fremont Street.
It feels like the Twins and the Guardians have higher floors but lower ceilings.
Don't miss out on crucial advice for live betting once the game starts, as well as looking ahead to the upcoming action. Tune in to Ready, Set, Bet, weekends at 1 p.m. Eastern on VSiN, the sports betting network. last night? Wow, winning. Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser! Pauly Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
Big moves in Major League Baseball. Phillies 240 up to 320. Won a day game, easy win. Mets 145 up to 190. NBA, horrible loss for the Mavs. At home against the Nets, plus 375 Nets on the money line as Dallas is trying to make the play-in. Oh, that's a bad loss. Couldn't believe that. Charlotte plus 2 to minus 4.5. They won by 4. And the women's tournament, UConn opened 12 against USC, got up to 15, closed 14.5 and won by 14. And I think they're laying 9 against UCLA Friday night in the Final Four. The Crown, 4-0 to the over. All 4 games went over. Nebraska 4.5 up to 6.5 and 149 up to 156.5, 86-78. Washington State, Georgetown over 154.5 to 162.5, 86-82. Subscribe, be part of the team, VSiN.com. Our radio and podcast friends, you always want to see these tweets and videos. Send them in. We'll put you on at Pauly Does Vegas on Instagram. This was on X. Courtney sent this in. Hanging out on the couch watching us, follow the money, and then the dog gets the zoomies. Oh, he's going, the cat's like, what's this guy's problem? And then you look, here we go. Big living room, going back and forth, jumping on the couch. And he is fired up. Look at him. And then there's you on the TV, and this guy's going on. A lot going on here. Huge room. And the cat's just like, calm down, will you? He's on his little bed. Got the couch over there. Dog excited. Good times.
Looks like I was wearing a very bright jacket that day. Maybe it threw him for a loop.
You think so?
Oh, was this yesterday with the orange jacket?
Yes.
It might have been, yeah.
Yes, right. Oh. Yeah, it's all freaked out. That's excellent. You sent this in as well. This is Joey. He found his happy place. Yeah, not a care in the world, right? Just sitting down. He's got his toy. He's just chewing on his toy. His eyes are closed, right?
I think this dog could have done this for 2 hours the way it looks.
Yeah, right. Look at him. He just won't stop.
Oh, he is lost in space.
Yeah.
Not bothered by anything.
Yeah. Like, yeah, what of it? I'm loving it. I got the toy. I'm chilling. Leave me alone. I got everything I want right here. Excellent. Lose some. Washington State plus 2, minus 3. Lost. And how about this? Buzz Williams left A&M to take the Maryland job. 6-year deal. You leave A&M, who's got a ton of money, and the SEC to go to a school where the last guy was just complaining about commitment, NIL, and you go there.
Nothing should surprise us really in college basketball anymore. That one was at least a mild shocker to me earlier today when I saw it. I'm like, what is he doing?
Yes.
Now he likes to get up and move.
Yeah, Marquette, Vatech, A&M.
But
now Maryland.
A&M's got as much money basically as any program in college athletics.
Mm-hmm.
And to your point, Willard just got done. He was bitching and he moved because he didn't like what was going on.
Couldn't wait to leave, as they're still playing. His buyout was only $1 million. That surprises me.
Is the SEC too hard? Does he figure the Big Ten can be had?
Yeah. A couple other notes here. Win some. We're going to get a triple header on Christmas at NFL. Schefter had that. And the OKC Thunder are 28-1 against the East.
Yeah.
Best ever. West against the East. What a job.
They led the Bulls. Keep this in mind. They led the Bulls, who were playing great basketball, by 40 points into the third quarter last night. Kobe White was averaging 29 points per game in March. He had 7. Guess who was on him? Yeah, your eventual Defensive Player of the Year in Lou Dort. Josh Giddey, 6 of 15, had 15 points, was ripping things up for a full month. Nothing last night.
Yeah. Is Dort still up? Is he still 20-1?
12-1.
Oh, he came down a little?
12-1.
Okay, as he should. It's outrageous. Take your sports betting to the next level. You know what this reminds me of? Thibodeau. Remember the year he won Coach of the Year? The guy was like 20-1 late in the season. It's like, who expected anything from the Knicks?
Sure. You know what it also reminds me of with Draymond Green being favored now for a week or so? Sam Darnold, comeback player of the year.
Okay. Could see that. Sharp Plays at sharpplays.com, your secret weapon. Since 2011, they've been building trusted relationships with major books and sports insiders worldwide. Daily updates on what top pro groups are betting and top bettors, always ahead of the game. And they launched a cutting-edge AI betting analyst that provides even more selections and reports. Check out the Sharp Plays free content anytime. Get real-time betting action reports, alerts, and more through email and X directly from the pros. Check out their record, their online logs right on the website, sharpplays.com. Join now. What do you have to lose? Join a team that's never had a losing year, sharpplays.com. What'd you make of the changes in the NFL?
First of all, you brought it up. I don't like this, but they're never going to go back.
Oh, no, there's no going back.
A triple header now on Christmas Day.
And there'll be pomp and circumstance with the halftime shows and all that, because it's Netflix again and it's Amazon.
Yep, 2 on Netflix, and then the nightcap's going to be on Amazon. I mean, the ratings were great last year, so they saw this and like, got to do it again.
What day does it fall on?
It's a Thursday.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
So, but do we need 3 games on Christmas Day? Maybe I'm wrong. Is America craving to have, 9.5, 10 hours of football on Christmas Day?
Apparently. The last thing you want is to talk to your family. So it's a win-win. I would have been fine with 2.
What happens at the NBA?
Oh, bye-bye.
Why even play your games?
Yeah. You got to get off it.
Honestly, this is like a signal to them. Maybe they should start the season the next day. Now start on December 26th every single year.
You're buried.
You have no prayer against the NFL.
You put your marquee players on in your great games, and it's other than the first game, which goes early, and now they're going 3. So, which they did a couple of years ago, but it was on a Monday.
The ratings were 3 times higher for the NFL last year, at minimum. 3+ times higher for the NFL games than the NBA on Christmas Day. And then LeBron and I think Curry were talking about this is our day. No, it's no longer. I mean, I feel bad for you guys, but you don't have a chance again. This is David versus Goliath.
Yeah, that's big news. It's also big with Circa Survivor, potentially. And I'm sure we'll get some good matchups.
Yeah.
So we're going to have touchbacks, balls at the 35.
Yep.
The tush-push was tabled, thank God. Win for the Eagles. And the overtime now, regular season. Both teams get the ball.
Okay.
10 minutes.
So you know what that means?
Ties.
No question. And that tie prop, I shouldn't even bring this up on the air. But when how many ties are we going to have this year in the NFL? It's going over this year. If you put it at, what are we going to make it a half? Like, are we going to have 1 tie? Absolutely, we're going to have a tie. Because now both teams are guaranteed to get 2 possessions, and that just indicates that in a 10-minute period that there's a pretty damn good chance the game's going to be tied at that when it's over with.
Did the Lions go 0 for 2?
Well, I know that it hurt my feelings because the one that I really wanted the league and the committee to get behind did not pass. That's because their proposal to eliminate an automatic first down as a penalty imposed for defensive holding and illegal contact did not pass. It did not pass.
Yeah, I saw that.
You finally have a team get behind something that's so logical. For years, we're like complaining about this. It doesn't make any sense. A team agrees. They're like, what are we doing here? You could have 3rd and 25. 5-yard defensive holding is an automatic first down.
Outrageous.
Of course it is.
So I just... sorry.
Go ahead.
I just made Jay Bilas commissioner. Mm-hmm. If I'm commissioner, there's 4 things there. 2 of them are the Lions. No more with this 3rd and 25 legal contact is a first down.
Thank you.
The ones... I don't care if you win your division. You don't get a home game. And stop with the PI as a spot foul. And they didn't do this again. Get rid of the onside kick late in the game and go, okay, the team has to convert a 4th and 20 or whatever it is.
Right.
That's what, no onside kick. It's you have the ball at the 35 and it's 4th and 20 or whatever you want to do.
That adds so much more drama to these games.
Yes. Can you imagine a sports book? There's no drama with the onside kick. The whole place, here we go. Aaron Rodgers, Steelers, 4th and 15. Can they convert?
You know what that is? That's the NBA, in the 80s? When a team would take a timeout.
David Stern came up with this.
They would say, you get the ball on the other half court.
Made it up, right.
Because
made-up rule.
Right. The NBA is fantastic. And it added to the potential drama that you're going to have to close out a game with 1.2 seconds left and a team can actually get off a shot.
Think about that rule.
That's what 4th and 15 is instead of the onside kick. But yet the NFL, they are buried in the 50s, man.
I'm glad you brought that up because they just had it on Celtic City. The rule used to be, and it was in the 78 finals, if you wanted to advance the ball, you would be assessed a technical foul. You would trade the free throw to advance the ball.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's why that game went triple overtime in Game 5 of the finals. They took the technical, went down 2, and then the guy hit the miracle shot, and they lost in overtime. 3 overtimes, Celtics beat the Suns. And then David Stern comes in. You can advance the ball half court by taking it. Get the hell out of here.
Huh?
That's crazy.
Of course.
How he came up, just made that rule
Just made it up.
Yeah. It should be like college, where it's okay underneath the basket.
And that the NFL, they fight this stuff every single year, and then they poo-poo it all the time. I don't know. They have so many rules, like the thing where you fumble the ball out of the end zone.
Mm-hmm. Everyone hates that.
The opposing
Everyone hates
ball
it.
at the 20-yard line?
Right.
Who came up with that idea?
I don't know.
It's really baffling to me. The 3 games on Christmas Day. So think about this now. It doesn't matter which day Christmas is going to fall in. We're always going to, because last year on a Wednesday, we're going to get games.
Yeah.
And now that they're going to go to 3, I would imagine every single year moving forward, we're also going to have 3 games. It totally changes it for me now that I have it's going to be a second Christmas next year. Totally changes everything now.
10, 1:30, 5 o'clock.
Yeah. Jeff
Pacific.
Seeley on the program coming up next. He's had the winner 2 weeks in a row, 3 out of the last 4 on the PGA Tour. It's getting good now. Find out who he likes this week. Next here on VSiN.
And we're out.
Okay, give me 1 sec. I need to load funds into my gaming apps.
Stormy, really, with a